Hello there. My name's Heather, and this is the Ankara Book Club. I wanted to review a book that I found really, really interesting. Um, and it might be in a strange field for what the other books are like, but I picked up a copy of Purple Cow by Seth Gobin a while ago now. And I wanted to review it, and it reminded me, I pulled it off my bookshelf and I remembered how much it changed my life. Um, and it made me understand all the progress that I'd made. And it's really books like this that can help a lot of us understand our businesses from a marketing perspective. So it is a marketing book, and it's nice and small because I was not super into marketing, but back before I had the resources to get my own marketing team, I was doing everything for my business as we do. I was every role you could possibly think of in the business. And I was interested in marketing from a creative perspective. So, how can I get my message out there? What really shines for people? And what Purple Cow talks about is you can have all the money in the world and you can have the best idea in the world or the best product. But Purple Cow really says the only way to make sure that people really see you is to make your offering, your product, your service so unique that it stands out as much as a purple cow in a field. And I loved reading it. I loved the concept. It was very inspiring, it was very motivating. I was like, right, I just have to be different. I have to be unique. But I didn't actually know what that meant from experience, because it wasn't until I started working with my marketing team that I realized actually how much competition is out there and how big my industry is. And in the beginning, I was very confronted by the idea that there's so many people out there doing similar things. But living through the experience of staying authentic, being unique, and I think all we really need to do to be unique is to be super authentic and high integrity, which is the only way to do that is walk your talk. If you're teaching stuff to people, you have to be doing it. You have to know that it works. You have to have trialed it on yourself so that you can honestly sit in a position and say, these are the things that worked for me. I've done these 1,000 times. I've done this process 1,000 times, and be the experience and the evidence of that this stuff really works. And he speaks from that perspective, which I really loved. He talked about his experience and what he's achieved. And really, the purple cow analogy has stuck with me ever since. Not from a competitive point of view, but more for a creative point of view. So there's a lot of people out there that have similar ideas, and there's a lot of people out there that are trying to work in similar industries. So I think it was a humbling perspective to digest. It really was that I think we're still programmed with this idea that someone's going to pick us up and say, oh my God, you're so talented. You're the best I've ever seen. Come, let me support you. And when that doesn't happen, we have to work and generate our own businesses, our own ideals, our own way to be of service to humanity. And we do need to set ourselves apart, not at the sake of anybody else. So I think my aversions to traditional marketing were in the beginning based on I didn't want anyone to put me in a competitive mindset. I didn't want to compete with anyone. I didn't want to challenge anything else in my industry, because I've always said the more healers, the more shamans on the earth, the better we can do. And I think we all need to collaborate, because it's not an easy journey. And particularly the entrepreneur journey is not easy either. It's a long slog, but if we can all find our own uniqueness, which we would probably say our own niche, then we know what we can stand in, and we know that that's authentic for us. And I think we're also individual, and we're also special in our own right. that we can find that niche, not based on what we think people want from us, based on your lived experience. So my niche is based on my lived experience, my trauma, my setbacks, my challenges, and how I've overcome those. And my niche is teaching people going through a similar situation with tried and tested, proven action steps, structure, and a way to get there. And I am one of the first people to say, look, if my system doesn't work for you, I know so many other beautiful teachers and shamans and healers out there doing it with a slightly different flavor, which might resonate with you better, which might feel more authentic to you because it's closer to your experience. And I think that's where we need to go. So if I'm a purple cow over here, then there's a rainbow cow over there, and there's a neon cow over there, and we can all collaborate because there's enough people to go around. And I think particularly in our time of incarnation, there's certainly enough people that need healing and direction and spiritual knowledge. I think if 50% more of the population stood up and shared their knowledge and became of service to others, we would still have millions of people in need. So that old competitive paradigm is dying, and I want to see that decay, because it won't be about industry and competition and who's ruthless and who can sell more. It's going to be about, my God, how do we help all these people? Like, what are you good at? Okay, great. I'll send them over there. What am I good at? What's your niche? What do you have capacity for? Which is what I do with my network of healers anyway. You know, where are you at? How much capacity do you have? How many clients can you take on at once? And what are you really interested in right now, so that we can funnel through the ideal over there, rather than holding on to everyone and pretending that we are this smorgasbord of skills. But in fact, when you hone it in and you work on the purple cow idea, and sometimes it's so niche that you think, is there anyone out there that's even going to dig this? But they will, because we're so connected and we have such shared experiences, and we're all going through such a big collective upgrade, that I think there's enough to go around. So finding your niche, this is what I say to a lot of my clients, a lot of my students, finding your niche takes time. It takes trial and error. And it certainly takes a lot of dedication to your own healing, because there's resistance around being honest and authentic with what you've been through and what you can offer people and what you can't. So when we're really honest about that, we can work within our niche and say, this is the only thing that I want to work on. This particular flavor of this particular part of this particular industry, whatever that is. And a lot of that work is hard to define, particularly for coaches and mentors. But if we can clarify that and share the rest around, then we can create this network of exceptional multicolored cows. And there doesn't ever have to be the greed that there once was, the competitive greed of, I need to snap up this much of the market. When in fact, I work with a whole bunch of different healers, and sometimes we're all working with the same clients at once. If we see there's a massive awakening and upgrade going on, I know the power of networking and having a support system, and sometimes you need more than one person on board, particularly when we're going through the depths of it with a huge awakening and someone being called to service in a really big way. And sometimes there is a sense of urgency there, and a lot of us can feel it. So it's like, you know, this person has raw talent or raw gifts. We can see that. We can also see that they've been through a lot. And if we all niche out on the parts we're very good at, the parts we're very passionate about, then as we come together, we can truly be of service. And also know that there's enough to go around. There's not that competitive edge. It's really about collaboration, and say, well, I'm prepared to do this part if you'll back up that part and see what that person needs moving forward. And this is just one of those books that, even though it's a marketing book and it's got all these beautiful concepts in it, I found it quite a very interesting, digestible idea as well that ended up being a lot about personal development and spirituality for me too, which marketing can be. Most people have an aversion to traditional marketing and marketers, but there's so many beautiful people out there now delivering messages in such an authentic way that we can really bring that to the table and bring in this idea of running teams and groups and collaborating together and us all being in the same field. We've got to get rid of those hierarchical systems. And I'd probably add that if you can become or create a purple cow and then hang out with other purple cows, but maybe they're a different color, then we can also abolish the idea that standing out needs to be lonely as well. I think we can all stand out, we can all be truly unique, and we can all support each other in that uniqueness and know that even if our crafts and our skill sets are similar, they will never, ever be the same. And there is copycats out there and there is people that steal things. I know that that's a thing, but if you're unique and authentic enough, there is no one that can steal your exact story. So if we live and breathe from our own lived experience and we create services and products from that, and we can stand up and honestly say, you know, this is the problem that I'm trying to solve so that no one else has to go through what I went through, then we can all be purple cows. And you just choose the flavor and the color that you like the most. So a nice little book. I will have it on my bookshelf forever. I really, really loved it. It helped me in those early entrepreneur years for sure. And I hope you can grab a copy. If you know this book, or if you pick it up and you read it, please comment below and tell me what you thought, good, bad, or indifferent. Like the video if you're liking the vibe, subscribe to the channel, you know what to do, and I will see you soon. Much love. Bye.